The 2020 campaign trail comes through Wisconsin. We'll go inside tonight's rally with President Trump in Milwaukee. Straight ahead.
And a few slick spots tomorrow morning as some snow and freezing rain is possible. We'll go hour by hour in your first alert forecast.
And later, a warning for fishermen as we learn the cause of death for a swan found stranded on Lake Monona over the weekend.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for joining us. A busy day in the 2020 campaign season in Wisconsin. At the heart of it tonight,
President Trump on his way back to Washington now after hosting a campaign rally in Milwaukee, marking his third trip to the Badger State in the last year. We have team coverage tonight. Amy Reed was at the rally tonight, and Amanda Quintana is recapping the Democrats' debate tonight in Iowa. Let's start with Amy, who is live in Milwaukee. Amy?
It was a pretty full house tonight at the Panther Arena as President Trump spoke for more than an hour about his accomplishments while in office. He focused quite a bit on the killing of Iranian leader Qasem Soleimani and the Democratic response to that. He also touted his record while in office. That includes appointing more federal judges. Tonight, Pence said they've added 103. He also talked about the economy, including low unemployment rates and an increased median household income, though he did cite a number on median income that was incorrect according to Census Bureau data. Of course, this was a campaign rally, the first of his in Wisconsin this year, so his comments on his record and against Democrats come in a state that's a battle this November.
For years you watched as your politicians apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America, and we are standing up for you, the people of Wisconsin.
We did have thousands show up for this rally tonight. This arena holds about 13,000. It was nearly full, if not full. This group told me they hope the president will return again, a likely bet with the state's role in 2016.
Amy Reed reporting live tonight in Milwaukee outside Panther Arena. Amy, thank you. Protesters also gathered outside the arena throughout the evening, hoping to bring their message to the president and his supporters. The group included members of nearly a dozen organizations, including Voces de la Frontera, the Coalition to March on D.C., and even groups from the Chicago area.
I think it's important for us to make a stand that says we're not angry, but we're concerned with what's going on in our government. And having the president here is a perfect venue to do it.
Protesters say showing up in Milwaukee is a must because Wisconsin figures to be a key state come November.
One state away, 6 Democratic candidates took the debate stage in Iowa for the final debate before primary voting begins. Amanda Quintana joins us with a quick recap of tonight's forum at Drake University in Des Moines.
Foreign policy and national security was one of the hot topics in light of recent conflicts between the U.S. and Iran. Former Vice President Joe Biden opened by admitting his 2002 vote to authorize an invasion of Iraq was a mistake. More progressive candidates, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, blasted U.S. spending on wars since 9/11. The others said the U.S. must maintain a presence in the Middle East. As for the discussion about gender and electability, things got a little more heated when accusations that Sanders said a woman could never be elected president came up.
Anybody knows me knows that it's incomprehensible that I would think that a woman could not be president of the United States.
So, can a woman beat Donald Trump? Look at the men on this stage. Collectively, they have lost 10 elections. The only people on this stage who have won every single election that they've been in are the women, Amy and me.
Both said they didn't want that fight to continue. The conversation happened privately more than a year ago, and both Sanders and Warren have presented conflicting versions. Again, this was the final debate among Democrats before the Iowa caucus, which is set for Monday, February 3rd.
Amanda, thank you. And just before tonight's debate, new fundraising numbers for the entire year of 2019. The Democratic presidential field and the Democratic National Committee together raked in a total of $580 million, surpassing President Trump and the Republican National Committee by more than $100 million.
Be sure to stay with News 3 Now during this entire election season, your headquarters for campaign 2020 coverage. We turn things over to weather now. We're tracking a chance for a mix of precipitation tomorrow morning. It could impact your morning commute. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield now with our first alert forecast. Dave?
Yeah, Eric, a round of snow and freezing rain is possible tomorrow morning into the afternoon hours as well. Right now, we are at 30 degrees in Madison. Northwest wind at 3 miles per hour, so wind chill not much of a factor. We will start to see that snow filter into southern Wisconsin from the south and west. In fact, spots south and west of Madison had the best chance of seeing that snow and possible freezing rain tomorrow morning into the afternoon. So temperatures right now are in the 20s. As we take a look to the south and west, quite a bit colder into northeast Iowa, where temperatures are already in the teens, and wind chills a few degrees lower than what the thermometer might suggest. Tomorrow, that snow is here for the morning and into the early afternoon hours, with temperatures rising through the 20s. Highs should make it into the low 30s with mostly cloudy skies tomorrow. And then after a quiet day on Thursday, we could be talking about more snow later into Friday and Saturday. I'll have the latest details in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
The first of 3 candidates for the MMSD superintendent position is in Madison tonight, speaking at East High School.
I've had the opportunity to be a leader in a variety of places, from the county office to the city office to superintendent. These are all positions that I've had. And the joy in that is that I have been able to hone my skills to bring people together collectively.
Dr. Marguerite Vanden Weingart is currently an assistant professor at St. Rose College in Albany, New York. The other 2 candidates will be in town later this week. Dr. Matthew Gutierrez at East High School tomorrow, and Dr. George Eric Thomas at La Follette on Thursday. Tomorrow night, there is also an opportunity to help select the next police chief of Middleton. The Police Commission is holding a public forum in the City Hall chambers where residents can meet the finalists. The meeting begins tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
A Richland County mother of 3 says her family can sleep tonight after learning that a violent sex offender who had moved in next door has now been ordered by the court to find another place to live. 64-year-old Richard Sugden of Richland County served decades in prison for rape and abduction back in the 1970s. Jamie Shannon, who lived next door, started a petition to have him moved out, which the community quickly backed.
Just really happy the way it turns out. I don't know, as a mom now, I don't have to worry.
Sugden's attorney said he has been waiting for years to come back to Richland Center and is frustrated that the first home that became available in the area is now off limits. Sugden is now ordered to work with the Department of Corrections to find another place to live in the next 60 days.
After a swan rescue on Lake Mendota, wildlife rehabilitators are asking everyone to do their part in keeping birds and other animals safe. Madeline O'Neill tells us ways to help prevent wildlife poisoning.
It's just amazing.
John Fox loves what he gets out of ice fishing.
2 of them in a row, too. It's hard to beat.
But what he puts into it is important, too.
Instead of using a lead weight, I use a steel spoon.
Because lead in fish tackle can also impact animals above water.
It couldn't move around very well, and that is something that we see with lead toxicity.
On Sunday, a number of concerned callers let the Dane County Humane Society know about a swan that appeared to be struggling on the ice near Picnic Point. Emergency responders, including firefighters, helped get the swan out safely.
This is our raptor room.
And get it here to the Humane Society's Wildlife Center, where x-rays revealed fishing tackle in the swan and tests showed lead levels off the charts.
We also sent out blood and ended up getting a value back of about 800 on the blood value for lead, and we treat anything over 10.
Wildlife rehabilitator Sarah Carl suspects lead in the fishing tackle ended up killing the swan.
When it did end up passing away, it was at least in a place that was warm and quiet.
Getting the swan out of the lake may have also helped other animals, including nearby eagles.
So if those eagles ended up, having access to the swan, then they potentially could have also gotten lead toxicity. And that, also could have ended in those eagles dying.
There's a spoon little teaser trailer.
It's a reason to avoid using lead shots and fish tackle.
It is something, I definitely have thought about, even since I was a kid. You lose how many lures, and a lot of the lures are lead-based heads.
That's why Carl says it's hard to tackle all the lead already in the environment.
We'll, do the best we can for any animal that needs help, but people should just know that this is an issue that we want to reduce the lead, but it will be in the environment for many years to come.
If you see a wild animal you think might be struggling, give the Dane County Humane Society's Wildlife Center a call.
A Delta flight injured more than 40 people after dumping fuel on a Los Angeles schoolyard and school buildings this afternoon. That plane had declared an emergency shortly after takeoff from LAX. Now, this is video of that plane flying overhead as it released that fuel. The LA Fire Department says dozens of children were treated for exposure to that jet fuel at several schools. The department says none of the victims were taken to the hospital. Delta says the flight to Shanghai had experienced an engine issue that required it to return to LAX shortly after takeoff. And in Florida, another incident involving a small aircraft. This one went off the runway. This was in St. Petersburg this afternoon. The nose of the plane ended up just feet from the water. There's no word on what caused the accident or if any injuries occurred.
An intermediate school in North Carolina was also damaged, but this time by Mother Nature. This surveillance video shows students running away as part of the gym collapses during a storm yesterday. 3 students suffered minor injuries when the storm hit. The National Weather Service said a water-loaded microburst caused the damage. A massive explosion today at a chemical plant in Spain has killed 1 person and gravely injured at least 6 others. Another person is still missing. This happened in Tarragona, which is about 70 miles southwest of Barcelona. Local media says the person who died was actually in a nearby building when the shockwave caused it to collapse. A spokesman for the local rescue services said the fire has been contained.
At least 6 people were killed today in China when a bus plunged through a sinkhole. This was in the capital city of Qinghai province in the northwestern part of the country. In total, 16 people were hospitalized. Workers using backhoes, dump trucks, and other equipment had to dig that bus out. The sinkhole estimated to be nearly 900 square feet in size. Still to come tonight, we're keeping an eye on some mixed precipitation tomorrow. Could impact your morning commute. Dave Caulfield will have his full forecast.
But first, a friendly reminder to clear your driveways and sidewalks. Stay with us.
For a clear, easy to understand forecast, watch First Alert Weather.
Build-A-Bear is giving the people what they have been patiently waiting for, Baby Yoda stuffed animals. The news was announced at an investment conference today, but they won't be available for a few months. Demand for all things Baby Yoda has skyrocketed since the debut of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus in November. The 2020 census is about to begin, and the Census Bureau is rolling out a $500 million marketing campaign to make sure people respond. That's more than $1 per person living in the U.S. Officials say it is necessary to make sure people know it's important, safe, and easy to respond to the census. The nationwide population count only happens every 10 years.
An order to remove more than 200,000 names from Wisconsin's voter rolls is again on hold. That's according to an appeals court decision today. It's a win for Democrats who say deleting the names amounts to unlawful voter suppression. Yesterday, an Ozaukee County judge ruled the Wisconsin Elections Commission in contempt of court for not removing those names. Meanwhile, the Elections Commission has hired an advertising firm for a campaign aimed at reassuring voters that Wisconsin's elections are secure. Commissioners voted today to spend $260,000 to hire Madison-based KW2 to develop that campaign. A little reminder tonight, be careful on potentially icy driveways and sidewalks. This surveillance video, this is from the Town of Beloit Police Department. Posted online, the officer appears to have been going out to do a little salting. The ice got the best of him first. We are happy to report he was not injured. But if you've been outside at all, those driveways, sidewalks, everything's got a little coat of ice on it. It's been a little dicey walking.
Yeah, and all it takes is, a couple hundredths of an inch of ice to really cause some slippery spots on the sidewalks and on roadways as well. And that's not even taking into account those elevated surfaces, which are easily in the path of a lot of that ice when it does form. And we could see some freezing rain mixing in with the snow as we get into tomorrow morning. Right now, quiet though across southern Wisconsin. We notice that snow is well off to the west. I expect the snow and freezing rain to develop from the south and west as we get a little bit closer to tomorrow morning. So we do have alert days in the forecast. The first one being tomorrow morning with that light snow and freezing rain. Could have some slick spots for the morning and midday commute. I think by the evening commute, temperatures will warm up enough where we won't have that issue. And I think the snow and freezing rain will move out of here by the mid-afternoon tomorrow. And then Friday night into Saturday, we're watching our next potentially significant snow system move in. We have had some differences and some uncertainty with the models. What else is new across the Midwest? But we could also have some freezing rain mixing in at times early on Saturday with this system as well. Does look like we will see some travel impacts regardless of how much falls as we get into the day on Saturday. High temperatures today across the area in the mid to upper 30s. So a bit on the mild side, that's for sure, just above freezing, but really the snow that's on the ground didn't really go anywhere with temperatures only a few degrees above freezing. And then as we head into tomorrow, we are just a bit above freezing as well, still above normal for this time of year, bouncing around from the teens and 20s and 30s for the next half of the 10-day forecast. And then the back half, we are noticing the cold weather really start to settle in with highs in the teens Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and the low 20s Wednesday and Thursday. Really the only days that aren't pretty cold outside are the days that active weather is a possibility. So we're talking about the system on the way for Friday and Saturday. If this track holds, if Wisconsin's on the northern side of things, we tap into that cold air, which we really didn't have with the last system. So if this track is the one that ends up materializing, heavy snow is possible for southern Wisconsin, for much of the state, in fact. However, this afternoon, we noticed a bit of a waffle with the track where it could go a little bit farther north. If that happens and the center of the low basically goes directly over Madison, which is definitely a possibility, then some freezing rain and rain could mix in with the snow, which could cut down on those snow totals. So stay tuned as we fine-tune that forecast over the next day or so. On future track, the snow starting to move into southern Wisconsin tomorrow morning. By the time we get to 7 or 8 in the morning, we have that snow and potential freezing rain out there for most of us. And then by the time we get to the lunch hour, still some snowflakes flying in spots northeast of Madison. But really, I think the snow gets out of here pretty quickly by the mid-afternoon hours of Wednesday. highs in the low 30s, and then those temperatures crash behind this system into the 20s and teens. We're in the upper single digits to start off Thursday, with highs only in the mid to upper teens as we get into Thursday. So snowfall amounts generally less than an inch for most of southern Wisconsin. And the good news I have to share is ice amounts will be minimal. However, just a glaze can cause some problems. So give yourself a few extra minutes tomorrow morning at least. And then Thursday, we're cold, as I mentioned. Friday late into Saturday, still some differences and uncertainty when it comes to the track of that system, and also some slight differences on timing when exactly that snow will start on Friday. It does look like later in the day, however. After that, we're pretty quiet with temperatures staying cold Sunday really through Thursday of next week, with highs in the teens and 20s and lows right around 0 on certain days.
Just a little annoyances.
Yeah, we've been sort of peppered with these small systems, and everyone's sort of waiting for that big one. I don't think it will happen this weekend, but more significant snow is possible.
Thank you.
Got a nail biter at the Kohl Center tonight. The Badgers host the 17th ranked Maryland Terrapins. We'll have the highlights next in sports.
Well, tonight's game between the Badgers and Terrapins, pretty exemplary of how college basketball has been this season. Wisconsin led, Maryland came back, and then it got tight in the second half. A lot of people on hand for this one. Kobe King pretty pumped up beforehand. We pick it up in the second half. Micah Potter from up top drops down 3. Potter with 14 points off the bench. We've got a tie game. Later, Brevin Pritzel finding Nate Reavers inside, fighting for every inch there. Nate with a team-high 17 points and 5 rebounds. Badgers down 4. Got super tight at the end. 1-point game here. Maryland ball inbound to Darren Morsell. Nice play and effort by Brad Davison there to get the ball back. So Wisconsin drawing up something in the timeout. Dimitri Trice to Davison in the corner. Drains that 3. He had 14 points tonight, and the Badgers take the lead and hang on to it. 56-54, the final score. Next up, Wisconsin travels to 15th ranked Michigan State on Friday. To high school girls basketball, the Sun Prairie Cardinals taking on the Edgewood Crusaders. We start in the first half. A loose ball here picked up by Edgewood. Allie Barth finds Sarah Lazar for the bucket, and Crusaders up early. Later on, Sun Prairie ball, Rachel Rademacher to Jazane Seymour. She makes the jumper and gets the and one. Cardinals coming on back, but Edgewood, too much for Sun Prairie tonight. Crusaders' Lindsay Langlois with the 3. Edgewood wins 46-42. Madison Memorial girls basketball team, they are ranked 2nd in the state. They host Janesville Craig tonight. Second half here, Madison Memorial's Mia Morrell brings up the ball, pulls up for the jumper. Spartans up big time. Later on, Memorial's Maya White Eagle with the steal, lays it in for 2, and the Spartans win this one big, 96-54. They stay undefeated on the season. To the pack. Right to the Super Bowl. Definitely has been for the fans. Heard a lot of people thinking about Miami plans already, and even Jimmy Graham mentioning it after the game on Sunday night on how great it would be to go back to his native Miami, but nope. Veterans and newbies can't think like that, especially given how tough Sunday's game is going to be.
We want to make it to the Super Bowl. It's our goal, and that's just the prize. So it make it all worth it, making it there, but winning it too. But right now, we just worried about this game against the Niners, and just want to come out and just start fast, execute, and just stay focused how we've been so far, and really just get ready to go to business.
I'd like to think that we've improved throughout the course of the season, especially the last 6 weeks or whatever it's been. Certainly, I don't think we played our best that day, and you got to give them a lot of credit. That was probably a reason for that. That's a really, really talented football team, and we know that.
And a local note tonight, sports broadcaster Mike Lucas was let go from iHeartRadio today. The Madison sports fixture and longtime sports columnist will continue to be an analyst for Badgers football and basketball games on the Badger Sports Network. We'll be right back.
So we do have a chance of some snow and freezing rain as we get into tomorrow morning. And temperatures will be in the low 30s for highs tomorrow. I think that snow wraps up pretty quickly as we get into the afternoon hours. Then just plain cold on Thursday with temperatures in the teens. We could have some more snow and freezing rain late Friday into Saturday.
Thanks for joining us for News 4 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.